Morning from Pittsburgh. We are out here just outside of Heinz Field ahead of the rematch, Browns versus Steelers. And don't be fooled by looking behind me where we are. We are actually pretty close to Heinz Field, and plenty of parking still available here. This is the interesting thing. My photographer Randy, who's holding the phone, and I have noticed as we got out here. We got out here very early, about 6:30 in the morning. The lots didn't even open until about 8 o'clock. And even now we are, let's see, T-minus an hour and 15 minutes away from kickoff. Plenty of spots. I mean, Randy, this is crazy. I want to bring you in because you're a lifelong Clevelander. As a lifelong Clevelander, a giant Browns fan, I mean, what do you think about this?
This is unbelievable.
Like, the Muni lot would be a zoo.
It'd be crazy at the Muni lot.
6 hours ago. We're an hour and a half from kickoff, and there's still some people pulling in here. I mean, they could have this father-son playing football right here. They could probably field an entire football Pee-wee game because there's no parking spot. In fact, the interesting thing, let's walk it around a second. We parked over here so we can get a nice shot of the stadium for the morning show, thinking, well, they're going to all fill in. We stick out like a sore thumb now because there's nobody in this row with us. And the same thing goes for over there. Now, you can see the line kind of along the road, but back behind them, it's maybe too deep and then completely vacant all the way up into that building. They have multiple cornhole boards set up. So that's the first thing that really hit me. And I've been talking to some Steeler fans today about, is it the weather that's possibly doing this? Obviously, rain in the forecast all day long. Is it the fact that the Steelers are having a down year? So maybe they're not showing up in the droves of support as they usually do when they're doing very well. Is it maybe the time change? Remember, this game was originally scheduled for 4:25, then it got moved to 1 o'clock. They all kind of said, well, maybe a combination of all of them, but they didn't. Am I wrong in saying they didn't seem totally off-thrown by this?
It seemed more the norm than the exception.
Yeah, very strange. So this is the kind of the lay of the land out here. Obviously, a big game today. Both of these teams looking to stay in the playoff push. Both looking for a win, which would be huge to keep them alive and relevant as they're vying for that last wild card game. And obviously, tension's very high because just 16 days ago on Thursday night, a giant brawl. We all know about it. We don't even have to mention it. Everybody knows what happened. But the interesting thing is there are two people that were involved, Mason Rudolph, the quarterback, Myles Garrett, the defensive end for the Browns, that are not going to be on the field today, barring any injury. Myles obviously suspended, so he's definitely not going to be out there. Mason Rudolph got benched for Devlin Hodges, who's going to be taking the field as the starter for Pittsburgh. Unless he gets hurt, the two kind of at the nucleus of that entire brawl will not be on the field. I don't know what that's going to do as far as maybe curbing some of the tensions around these teams or not. The fans, on the other hand, very jovial rivalry this morning. I don't know if you would agree as we're walking around. Browns and Steeler fans obviously playing cornhole together, giving each other a very hard time. Don't kid yourself about it. But that was it, right? Just kind of hard time.
Just a good old-fashioned rivalry is back.
Yeah, and that's what they're all saying. The rivalry is back. Some of them are saying it was kind of dormant for a little bit, maybe like the Ohio State-Michigan, but I don't want to go there yet. They're all saying it's kind of back now. The Browns, they feel like have a little better team. Obviously, with what happened on Thursday, it brought the rivalry juices back in and flowing. So we're going to be inside. We've talked to some Browns fans out here earlier. Coincidentally, the strangest one of all, the first one that we saw, I started talking to and went to my old high school and my college. So very small world out here in Pittsburgh. But we're going to be headed in. We're going to talk to some Browns fans in there as well, some Steeler fans. We'll talk about the game and everything for you tonight at 6 and 11 on WKYC. And, of course, many more updates here on the digital side of things on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We're going to be sharing some of the pictures all day long. The best was maybe that T-shirt so far, right? The guy that had some sort of pun with Rudolph and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and Merry Cleveland.
That was a very classic shirt.
He said his daughters made it for him. But tensions are high here, but I think between fans, it's a jovial tension as of now. We'll see if things change in about an hour and a half. We'll talk to you guys then.